Heavy rain patters against the window as Lily, mid-20s, alone, stacks moving boxes in her new home. The dimly lit house creaks with every step. Thunder rumbles faintly outside. She's humming softly, trying to shake off the eerie quiet. The wind howls slightly, making the old wooden floors groan. Lily sighs, placing a box labeled "Old Books" in the corner. She wipes her hands and heads toward the basement door, planning to store some extra boxes. The door creaks open, revealing a dark staircase leading down. She clicks on the basement light. It flickers weakly. Lily chuckles nervously. Yeah, totally not creepy at all. Should have bought a newer house. She steps down, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. Shadows stretch across the unfinished walls. The space is mostly empty, just old shelves and a rusted toolbox. Suddenly, she notices a door. A large wooden door with iron hinges on the far side of the room. It wasn't there during the house tour. Lily approaches cautiously. The wood looks ancient, splintering, and the handle is ice cold when she touches it. She pauses, staring at the odd symbols carved around the doorframe. Spirals, jagged shapes. She gasps and stumbles back. Okay, maybe. Drafts. Yeah, just a draft. Or a haunted door. Great. She pushes the door fully open. The air inside feels wrong, heavy, stale. A single dim light bulb flickers overhead, revealing a cluttered storage room filled with dusty, forgotten furniture. Broken mirrors, torn curtains, old photographs with faces scratched out. And in the center, a more rocking chair. Moving gently. No breeze, no wind. Just moving. Okay, rocking chair. Chill. You're just vibing, right? The chair suddenly stops, perfectly still. Her smile fades. Lily scans the room, heartbeat pounding louder. Her flashlight reveals more symbols covering the walls, scrawled in what looks like ash or something darker. More twisted versions of the carvings on the door. She takes out her phone, snapping a picture. The screen glitches. Distorted static replaces the image. Then, a black figure flashes for just a second. No face. Lily drops the phone, breathing hard. What was that? She backs toward the exit, but the basement door slams shut on its own. Lily rushes to the door, twisting the knob, locked. She pounds on it. Hello? Is someone here? Let me out. No response, only silence. The rocking chair begins to creak again, but this time louder, and the symbols, they seem to be spreading, shifting on the walls, pulsing like veins beneath the surface. Lily half laughing, half panicked. Okay, real question. Why do horror movies always make people go in the basement? And why did I just do the exact same thing? Suddenly, a faint whisper from behind her. Turn around. Lily spins. The rocking chair has stopped, completely still, but behind it, a figure stands in the corner, tall, shrouded in shadow, unmoving. Who are you? No response. The figure shifts slightly, and then the chair begins rocking faster and faster. The light bulb bursts. Lily stumbles backward, flashlight flickering. The door behind her opens on its own. But it no longer leads to the basement. It leads downward, an endless spiraling staircase made of damp stone, descending into darkness. And that whispering voice. Keep going. Lily looks back. The shadow figure is now closer, almost inches away. Her phone buzzes with a new notification. One new photo added. She opens it. It's a picture of her, taken from directly behind her, just seconds ago. You let me in. What do you think happened to Lily? Was the door ever real? Or did something follow her into the house? Share your theories in the comments below. And if you're brave enough, subscribe for more terrifying stories like this. Welcome to Whispernight, where your nightmares come alive. Every night, at precisely 3 a.m., an unmistakable sound echoes through the house. A child's cry, soft, desperate, full of sorrow. But there's no child here. No child to be found. Only a family unaware of the horrors lurking beneath their feet. Mom, Dad, and 2 teenage kids sitting at the kitchen table nervously glancing around. It's coming from down there. The sound of a child crying echoes through the house, faint but unmistakable. Mom and Dad exchange uneasy glances. Not again. It's 3 a.m. It's always at 3 a.m. We've been hearing this for weeks now. What's going on? Dad's face, confusion and fear. The mom grabs the phone, scrolling quickly. I've looked it up, but there's no answer, no explanation. The teenage daughter, Emma, suddenly perks up. Wait, I heard it too. This time, it's louder. They look towards the basement door. Should we check it? We have no choice. It's either this or live in fear forever. Family slowly descending the stairs. The flashlight flickers and their breaths become visible in the cold air. They reach the bottom and look around. The basement is filled with dust and cobwebs. The flashlight finally lands on something disturbing. An eerie circle of old dusty toys, arranged meticulously on the floor. None of them belong to the family. What is this? These aren't our toys. I don't understand. Who placed them here? This isn't funny. Why are they in a circle like that? They step closer. A strange whispering voice echoes through the room. Don't touch them. The family freezes. The voice sounds like a child's voice, but it's chilling. Did you hear that? Who said that? A long silence fills the room. No one speaks. Then Dad's hand shakes as he moves toward the toys. Dad reaches out to remove one of the toys, his hand trembling. I have to know. What is this? As he touches the first toy, the temperature in the basement drops even further. They all shiver. Something's wrong. We need to leave. Now. Suddenly a loud, violent bang echoes from behind them. Something in the dark, moving. We need to get out of here, now! They turn to run, but the basement door slams shut with a deafening noise. The flashlight flickers and dies. The basement is plunged into total darkness. The sounds of the crying child grow louder, now joined by eerie giggling and whispers. Who's there? Please, just let us out. The toys begin to move on their own, spinning in a circle as if driven by an unseen hand. The family tries to escape, but the door won't budge. Open the door! Let us out! A chilling silence fills the room for a brief moment. Then the toys stop moving. The basement light flickers back on. The basement light flickers back on, revealing an old decrepit figure standing just behind them, watching silently. The family stares in shock and horror. Who is that? The figure remains motionless, staring at them. Suddenly the sound of the child's cries grows deafening, and the figure steps forward, its movements jerky and unnatural. Where did you come from? Who are you? The figure tilts its head, slowly whispering, "Welcome back." James, early 30s, a rugged, practical man, wipes sweat from his brow as he clears debris from his basement. His heavy breathing breaks the silence. The camera lingers on his focused expression as he pries open a wooden panel beneath the old floorboards, something he wasn't expecting to find. Suddenly the panel falls loose, revealing a rusted iron trap door beneath, chains wrapped tightly around the latch. James exhales, trying to steady his breath. He kneels, running his fingers over the rusted chains, until they snap apart in his hands, far too easily, like they were waiting to be broken. He hesitates. Yeah, definitely not calling a contractor for this one. The trapdoor creaks open, revealing a stone staircase, spiraling downward into complete darkness. A damp, earthy smell rises from below. He leans over the edge, holding his phone flashlight, but the light barely penetrates the void. He grabs a crowbar for protection and begins his descent. Each step echoes hollowly. His boots scrape against old stone. James moves cautiously, the narrow staircase curving endlessly downward. Water drips somewhere unseen. Suddenly the walls shift, changing from rough stone to damp, peeling wallpaper. The smell of mildew thickens. Strange pale stains stretch along the edges of the walls. James notices something off. The patterns seem to shift when he's not looking, twisting slightly, almost breathing. Okay, what is this place? Who builds a basement like this? James pulls out his phone to call someone. Maybe his friend, Kyle. Classic horror movie move. No service underground? Come on, at least give me 5G in hell. He shoves the phone back into his pocket and keeps moving. Further down, the wallpaper changes again. Now the walls are adorned with framed portrait, old, faded, water streaked. James stops dead in his tracks when he notices the faces in the portraits are his own, but distorted. In one, his eyes are completely black. In another, his mouth is missing. He stares, heart pounding, his breathing loud in the quiet. The eyes in the portraits seem to subtly shift, following him. A faint whisper echoes his name, but distorted. Nope, nope, we are done with this. He turns to climb back up. But the staircase behind him now spirals endlessly upwards, identical to the descent. No sign of the trapdoor. Silence hangs, broken only by his pounding heartbeat. James keeps climbing, faster, heart racing. But the stairs repeat. Wallpaper, portraits, until he stops, winded, but something's changed. The portraits are no longer of him. They're of his childhood home, his parents. Old memories distorted, twisted, his mother's face blurred, his father's expression erased. James clutches his head, disoriented. What is this place? Why do you look like... Suddenly, he hears it, a faint breath. Not his own, from the darkness below. James freezes. Okay, could be a draft, or could be Satan, neat. He laughs weakly, but grips the crowbar tighter, voice shaking. James presses forward, the breathing growing louder. Every step feels heavier, like the air itself is thickening. The portraits now appear more violent, scratched out eyes, mouths open in silent screams. Suddenly his flashlight flickers out. Total darkness. James stumbles back, fumbling with his phone. He shakes it violently, the flashlight sputtering back to life, just enough to illuminate a figure standing on the steps below him. Motionless, pale, gaunt. It's him, but horribly wrong. His reflection, but with deep gashes across the face. The figure doesn't blink. James freezes, shaken. What are you? The figure tilts its head, lips twisting into a jagged smile. Then it speaks in a distorted, overlapping voice. You, let me in. Again, the sound of countless footsteps begins echoing from the staircase below, growing louder, as if an entire crowd is rushing upward. James looks up. The staircase above has twisted, closing in, no escape. What would you do if you were trapped here? Comment below. But be careful what you invite in. If you think you know what the figure was or why the staircase trapped James, drop your theories in the comments below. And remember, some doors should never be opened. Subscribe for more Whispernight if you dare. What would you do if the house you inherited had a locked door that whispered your name? At night, would you leave it or open it? Tonight, we're diving into a story that will make you question reality itself. Stay with me, if you dare. Grandmother's Victorian mansion after her sudden passing. An ancient creaky house, stained glass windows, crooked floorboards, and the scent of old wood lingering in the air. They were cleaning out the basement, where time felt frozen. Dust hung thick, shelves lined with antiques no one had touched for decades. That's when Emily noticed it, a rusted, padlocked door behind an old bookcase. Hold up, have you ever noticed how basements in horror stories are always the creepiest part of the house? Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, back to the story. The door wasn't part of the house plans they'd found upstairs. They hadn't even noticed it during the house tour. But here it was. Old. Cold. Sealed shut. That night, as they lay in bed, Emily woke up with a start. A whisper. Faint. Almost melodic. Coming. From beneath them, she shook Jake awake. Do you hear that? The whispering continued for nights. Faint, unintelligible murmurs, but growing louder. And the lock? Jake swore it shifted a few inches every morning. If the lock on a door starts moving on its own, would you grab some holy water or a locksmith? Comment below. I'm curious how brave you all are. Days passed. The whispers became voices, echoing their names. Emily, Jake, help us. One evening, Emily decided enough was enough. She grabbed a flashlight and together they went back into the basement. The lock was open, not broken, just unlatched. Jake hesitated. Maybe we should call someone first. Too late. The door creaked open. Inside was a small, dimly lit room. The walls were covered with photographs, faded yellowed pictures of children, dozens of them, all from different decades, some nearly a century old. In the center of the room was a wooden chair, splintered and worn. Chains hung loosely from its arms. And on the floor, deep scratch marks, like someone had been clawing to get out. And then the whispers stopped. Silence. Suddenly, bang! The door slammed shut behind them. If a haunted door locks you inside, do you scream or start praying in every language you know? Drop your survival tactics below. The air grew heavy, breath fogging the room despite no visible cold. Then the whispering returned, but louder. This time, it wasn't just whispers. A blood-curdling scream echoed, shaking the walls. Get out! The photographs on the walls began to twist, the faces distorting into grotesque smiles. Suddenly, the chains on the chair snapped upright with a loud clang as if invisible hands had pulled them tight. Jake banged on the door, screaming for help. The light flickered, shadows dancing across the walls. But Emily, she was staring at the chair. The chains were moving, wrapping around the chair arms on their own. Then, a shadow emerged from the far corner, pale, thin, eyes hollow. It pointed at Emily. You shouldn't have opened the door. Suddenly, everything went dark. Silence. No voices. No whispers. The next morning, the basement door was wide open. The chair, empty. The chains, gone. But Jake and Emily, never seen again. And the scariest part, the house was resold just months later. The door, still there, locked, waiting. So if you ever inherit an old house, maybe, just maybe, leave the basement alone. But what do you think? Was it real? Or just an old house playing tricks on them? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it this far, you're braver than most. Don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying stories every week. Until next time, keep the lights on.